A strange thing happens with human beings. We drift toward whatever we stare at the longest, even the things we say we don't want. Attention doesn't ask what you prefer. It simply takes you where you're looking. When a person keeps their attention on what's missing, life begins to look empty. They walk into a room and notice the flaw before they see the opportunity. They step into a new day and brace for problems instead of opening themselves to possibility. Meanwhile, someone else, someone whose attention leans toward what can be built, not what might break, walks into the same day and sees something entirely different. Where one sees barriers, the other sees shapes they could carve into something useful. Same world, different attention, different life. Your attention is like a steering wheel, silent, responsive, always turning you, inch by inch, toward the picture you hold in your mind. You don't need to make dramatic decisions. You don't need loud ambition. You don't even need certainty. You only need a consistent direction of looking, because your attention shapes the path long before your feet ever touch it. There's something oddly powerful about that. It means your future is hiding inside your present focus, not your plans, not your wishes, not your goals written neatly in a notebook, your attention. If your mind is filled with limitations, your life will shrink to match them. If your mind is filled with opportunity, your life will begin expanding in small, intelligent ways. If your attention is scattered, your results will be scattered. But if your attention is centered, even lightly, your progress starts to move with surprising speed. This law isn't emotional, it isn't moral, it isn't personal, it simply responds. The mind cannot hold one picture and move toward another. It will always, eventually, drift toward what it thinks about most, whether you approve of those thoughts or not. This is why two people can live the same day, in the same conditions, with the same resources, yet one moves forward while the other feels stuck. The difference isn't intelligence or luck, it's the direction of their attention. One person keeps their eyes on possibilities, small steps, and the next right action. The other keeps their eyes on problems, obstacles, and every reason progress might fail. Both are looking, both are thinking, but only one is steering their life deliberately. Attention is the quiet architect of destiny. It builds the inner world first, your beliefs, your assumptions, your sense of what's possible. And the outer world eventually matches the inner structure. You've seen this in your own life. Think back to a time when you were interested in something, truly interested. Suddenly you noticed it everywhere. Books, conversations, patterns, opportunities. Things that were invisible before became obvious. Nothing changed except the direction of your attention, and yet everything felt different. That's the power of focus. It filters reality. It shapes interpretation. It guides your decisions before you've consciously made them. Your life is always moving. The only question is, where have you been looking? Because whatever your attention holds, even quietly, begins shaping your identity, your direction, and eventually your results. And if you want to change where you're going, you must first change what you're consistently looking at. Why your attention predicts your future more accurately than your plans. If you pay close attention to your own life, you'll notice something quietly surprising. Your days rarely follow your plans, but they always follow your attention. You can sit down and sketch beautiful goals. You can map out the next year with perfect logic. You can write out dreams in neat lines, underlined twice. But the moment you begin living your day, it isn't the plan that guides you. It's whatever has captured your attention. Your attention is the real driver, even when you pretend the plan is in charge. Think of how many times you've set out to focus on something meaningful, only to find your mind leaning toward an entirely different place, replaying a worry, turning over an old memory, drifting into thoughts that have nothing to do with the life you want. And without realizing it, your actions start drifting in that direction too. A day shaped by scattered attention becomes a scattered day. A week shaped by the same pattern becomes a scattered week. Before long, you look up and wonder why progress feels slow, even though your plans were clear. It's because plans live on paper, attention lives in your mind, and the mind always wins. Attention predicts your future more accurately than your plans because attention shapes your moment-to-moment choices, and those choices are what build a life. Not the big declarations, not the grand intentions, the small, quiet decisions you make while no one is watching. If your attention stays locked on what you fear, you'll start organizing your life around avoiding those fears. If your attention leans toward what frustrates you, your mood and actions will begin to reflect that frustration. But if your attention turns toward what's possible, even slightly, your decisions begin to shift toward those possibilities almost without effort. That shift is powerful. Your attention decides what you notice. It decides what you call a chance and what you call a threat. It decides what you walk toward and what you walk past. That's why two people living the same ordinary day can walk away with completely different outcomes. They didn't live different lives, they just noticed different things. And they noticed different things because their attention was pointed in different directions. Attention is like a lens. Whatever you place it on becomes sharper, louder, and more influential than everything else around it. And little by little, your behavior starts matching what you've been staring at. You've experienced this before without even realizing it. If something troubles you, it follows you through the day, not because the problem grew, but because your attention kept feeding it. And if something inspires you, suddenly you move with more purpose, more clarity, more strength, not because the world changed, but because you looked at something different. Your plans are what you want. Your attention is what you choose, hour by hour, thought by thought, and your life grows out of what you choose more consistently. This is why attention shapes the future more reliably than planning ever could, because planning is intention, and attention is participation. You may not act on every plan you write, but you will always eventually act on whatever you keep looking at. How everyday focus shapes your mindset, decisions, and identity. If you really look at your days, not the highlight moments but the quiet, ordinary ones, you'll notice something important. Your attention is shaping you long before you make any major decision. People often imagine that their identity is built through big turning points, but the truth is far simpler. Who you become grows out of the small things you repeatedly look at, the thoughts you entertain, the ideas you return to, the inner conversations you hold without saying a word. Every time you focus on something, even for a few seconds, you're feeding it. You're giving it room to influence your mood, your beliefs, and eventually your behavior. Focus is nourishment. Whatever receives it will grow. If your mind keeps circling around doubts, those doubts begin to sound familiar, and familiar thoughts start to feel true, not because they are true, but because repetition gives them weight. If your attention leans toward setbacks, your mind slowly forms the belief that you are the kind of person who struggles. And decisions that come from that belief will always be smaller than your potential. But when you direct your attention, even gently, toward progress, possibility, or the next useful step, your mindset begins to shift in subtle, life-changing ways. You begin looking at the same world through a different lens. A person focused on growth walks into a situation and asks, "What can I learn from this?" A person focused on fear walks into the same situation and asks, "What if this goes wrong?" Nothing outside changed, only the direction of attention shifted, and with it, the entire meaning of the moment. Your daily focus is shaping your mindset every hour. It sets the tone of your inner world. It chooses which thoughts become loud and which fade into the background. And that mindset slowly begins guiding your decisions. This is why someone who keeps their attention on opportunities ends up making choices that move them forward. And someone who keeps their attention on potential loss ends up making choices that hold them back. not because one is better than the other, but because one is guided by possibility, the other by caution. Your decisions are not random. They follow whatever your attention has been rehearsing. If your attention rehearses failure, you'll walk cautiously, even when it's safe to move boldly. If your attention rehearses success, not fantasy, but a calm belief in your ability to grow, you'll take steps that align with that belief. Over time, these small decisions accumulate. They become patterns. Those patterns become habits, and habits become identity. You don't suddenly become confident. You slowly grow into confidence because your attention has been practicing strength. You don't suddenly become disciplined. You become disciplined because your attention keeps returning to what matters. In the same way, you don't suddenly become stuck. You become stuck because your attention stays locked on the same old story day after day until it becomes a personal truth. Your identity is not built in a moment. It's built in the direction your attention travels each day. Every time you focus on something uplifting, even briefly, you're shaping a different version of yourself. Every time you give your attention to a small, useful task, you're training your mind to participate in progress. Every time you redirect your attention away from noise and toward something meaningful, you're strengthening the identity of someone who takes ownership of their life. This is why everyday focus matters more than motivation. Motivation comes and goes. Attention builds roots. And the person you're becoming tomorrow is quietly forming today. In the things you choose to look at, the things you choose to repeat, and the things you choose to feed with the most valuable resource you have, your attention. The hidden cost of allowing distractions to guide your days. If you sit quietly for a moment and look back at your life, you'll notice something uncomfortable. The days that slipped away weren't taken by tragedy or crisis. They were taken by distraction, not loud distraction, quiet distraction. The kind that feels harmless in the moment, a small detour of thought, a few minutes drifting into something unimportant, a task you didn't mean to give your attention to, but somehow did. And then, without noticing, the day took a different shape than you intended. Distraction rarely feels dangerous. That's the trouble with it. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't warn you. It just gently pulls your attention 1 degree off course, and a 1 degree shift, repeated long enough, leads you miles away from where you meant to go. Distraction isn't the thief of time. It's the thief of direction. You can lose an hour and still recover. But when you lose direction, you lose the part of yourself that was trying to grow. The real cost of distraction is not the minutes it consumes. It's the identity it erodes. Every time distraction leads your day, you reinforce a subtle message within yourself. My focus belongs to whatever calls for it the loudest. My goals can wait. My attention is negotiable. And once the mind learns that your attention is easy to steal, it stops guarding it. Your inner world becomes like an unlocked door. Anything can walk in. Distraction also has a strange way of shaping your mood. It scatters your thoughts, then convinces you that you are scattered. It divides your attention, then makes you feel divided. It interrupts your momentum, then whispers, "See, you're not consistent." But the issue was never you. It was the constant redirection of your attention. And because distraction is gentle, it's tempting to think, "I'll get back to my priorities later." But every later sends the message that your real goals are optional, that your purpose comes second. And when your purpose becomes optional, life begins to feel blurred. Not painful, blurred. You feel busy, but not productive. You feel tired, but not fulfilled. You feel active, but not aligned. That's the hidden cost. Not frustration, not waste, but the slow fading of the person you're trying to become. Distraction also robs you of depth. A scattered mind cannot think deeply. It cannot follow a thought long enough to understand it. It cannot stay with an idea long enough to shape it. It cannot sit with a dream long enough to build it. The mind was designed for focus. Distraction is the foreign substance that dilutes it. Distraction doesn't steal what you have. It steals what you could have had. It steals the version of you that would have emerged if your attention had stayed where it belonged. It steals the opportunities you don't even know you missed. It steals the quiet victories that only appear after long stretches of steady focus. Life doesn't punish you for distraction. It simply doesn't reward you, because rewards come from continuity. Growth comes from staying with something long enough for it to open. Clarity comes from holding your attention steady. Direction comes from choosing what you look at, not what calls your name. And when distraction becomes the default leader of your days, your future begins drifting, not dramatically, but quietly. The same way a boat drifts when no one is holding the oars. Your dreams do not disappear. They simply drift away from the shore. How to redirect your attention toward growth and purpose. Redirecting your attention isn't about forcing your mind into perfect focus. It's about gently guiding it back to what matters again and again until that direction becomes natural. You don't wrestle the mind into clarity, you invite it. And it begins with something simple. A decision to stop feeding what weakens you and start feeding what strengthens you. Not in a dramatic way, in a steady, patient way. Most people think attention shifts through willpower, but real redirection starts with awareness, noticing where your mind is drifting, without judgment, the same way you'd notice a leaf floating off course on a stream. Once you notice it, you have the power to steer it. Begin by asking a quiet question. Is this thought leading me somewhere I want to go? If the answer is no, let the thought pass like a cloud. Don't fight it. Don't argue with it. Just refuse to follow it. Your mind is always throwing out suggestions. Thoughts are not instructions. You choose which ones to obey. Give your attention a home to return to. A mind without a direction will latch onto anything. Noise, fear, irritation, old stories. But a mind with a chosen destination learns to come back. Your home might be a long-term goal you're shaping, a skill you're developing, a principle you want to live by, a purpose you're slowly stepping into, a picture of the person you're becoming. Hold something steady in front of you, and your attention has somewhere to rest. Bring your focus back through simple actions, not effortful thinking. Attention follows action more easily than it follows ideas. If you want to redirect your mind toward growth, do something small that aligns with growth. Read one page, organize one thought on paper, tidy one corner of your environment, practice one repetition of your craft, speak one encouraging sentence to yourself. These small actions act like magnets. They pull your attention back into alignment. Create pockets of silence, not dramatic meditation, just simple silence. Sit, breathe, let the noise settle. A mind that's constantly stimulated has no room to choose its direction. It simply reacts. Silence gives you the space to remember what matters. Notice what drains you, and gently distance yourself from it. You don't have to remove everything at once. Just begin recognizing what consistently pulls your mind into the wrong places. Sometimes it's a certain environment. Sometimes it's a habit. Sometimes it's a thought you keep entertaining out of familiarity, not truth. Once you see it clearly, you naturally begin to step away from it. Surround your attention with things that elevate you, not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly. A sentence on your desk, a book you keep within reach, a small promise you make to yourself each morning, a daily reminder of what you value. These little anchors help your mind return to purpose instead of drifting into noise. Treat redirection as practice, not perfection. Your mind will wander. That's its nature. Purpose is not about never drifting. Purpose is about drifting less and returning sooner. Every time you bring your attention back, even once, you're strengthening the part of you that leads your life, not the part that merely reacts to it. Celebrate the quiet shifts, not the dramatic ones. Growth rarely announces itself. You won't feel transformed overnight, but you will notice that your reactions become calmer, your choices become clearer, your direction becomes steadier. Those are the early signs of attention realigning with purpose. And once your attention begins pointing toward something meaningful, life starts reorganizing itself around that direction. Opportunities you once overlooked become visible, ideas you once doubted begin to feel possible, and the person you've been trying to become finally gains room to emerge. Redirecting attention is not about control, it's about cooperation, working with your mind, guiding it gently, and showing it where you want your life to go. The link between attention, clarity, and long-term success. If you've ever felt lost, overwhelmed, or uncertain about your next step, you weren't facing a lack of ability, you were facing a lack of clarity. And clarity is almost always a reflection of where your attention has been living. Success doesn't begin with action, it begins with clarity, and clarity begins with attention. Your attention is like a window. Whatever you press it against becomes the thing you understand, the thing you interpret, the thing you adjust your life around. If your attention is foggy, the view becomes distorted. But when your attention becomes steady, the landscape of your life sharpens. Clarity is not a gift. It's the natural result of disciplined attention. Long-term success isn't built on talent or luck or even ambition. It is built on a simple cycle: attention, clarity, decision, action, momentum, success. Break the first link, and the entire chain collapses. Attention gives shape to what matters. You cannot build a meaningful life around vague thoughts. Attention turns vague into visible. It takes a blurry desire and slowly brings it into focus, the way your eyes adjust when you step into the light. The clearer something becomes in your mind, the easier it becomes to move toward it. Clarity decides the quality of your choices. People don't make poor decisions because they enjoy failure. They make poor decisions because their attention is scattered and their mind is unfocused. A scattered mind grabs whatever is closest. A clear mind chooses what is correct. When you have clarity, you don't need constant motivation. You simply know the direction. Clear attention removes emotional noise. When your attention is firm, it's like standing on solid ground. Your emotions may rise and fall like waves, but you don't get washed away with them. Clarity doesn't eliminate emotion. It creates enough space for you to think in spite of emotion. A clear mind can see the difference between a temporary feeling and a permanent goal. Long-term success requires long-term direction. Everyone can move fast for a day, but success isn't a sprint. It's a long walk in the same direction, and no one can walk long in a direction they can't see. That's why attention is so powerful. It keeps the direction alive when motivation fades. It keeps the purpose visible when life becomes noisy. It keeps you aligned when challenges try to pull you off course. Long-term success is not built by people who are always inspired, but by people who always know where they're going. Clarity makes discipline feel natural. Discipline becomes easier when the path is clear. When you know what you want and why you want it, the daily work stops feeling like a burden and begins feeling like a contribution, a quiet brick placed in the structure of your future. Clarity turns discipline from effort into expression. Success begins in the mind long before it appears in life. If your attention dwells on confusion, your future will feel confusing. If your attention dwells on purpose, your future will feel guided. If your attention dwells on growth, your future will hold opportunities that seem to appear out of nowhere, though they were there all along, waiting for you to notice them. Attention decides which part of life becomes visible. Clarity decides what you do with what you see. And long-term success is simply the accumulation of thousands of clear decisions. A simple daily shift that can realign your entire life. For all the complexity we attach to success, growth, and personal change, the truth is surprisingly simple. Your life can shift direction with one quiet adjustment. choosing each morning where your attention will live. Not dramatically, not with pressure or perfection, just a calm decision that says, today, I will place my attention on what strengthens me, not on what weakens me. That single shift has more influence over your future than any goal-setting exercise, any burst of motivation, or any perfectly organized plan, because the direction of your attention decides the direction of your day, and the direction of your day, repeated often enough, becomes the direction of your life. Begin each day by pointing your attention somewhere meaningful. Before the world asks anything of you, ask yourself a simple question. What deserves my attention today? Not everything. Not everyone. Just the few things that actually matter. This question acts like a compass. It sets a tone. It gives your mind a target. It prevents you from drifting into mental corners that drain you. Choose one thought worth returning to. Your mind needs something steady to come home to. A phrase, a reminder, a principle, a vision. It doesn't have to be poetic. It just has to be true for you. Something like, I'm building something worthwhile. One step is enough today. I stay focused on what aligns with my future. This single thought becomes the lighthouse for your attention. Practice the art of gentle redirection. You won't hold your attention perfectly. No one does. Your mind will wander into worries, memories, old patterns. That's normal. The power isn't in never drifting. The power is in returning. Each time you shift your focus back to what matters, you strengthen a mental muscle that can change the shape of your entire life. Give your attention fewer options. The mind becomes quieter when it has fewer places to wander. Simplify something small each day. Your environment, your tasks, even your inner dialogue. When your surroundings are less cluttered, your attention doesn't have to fight for a place to land. Honor your attention by using it deliberately. Most people, quietly, treat their attention as a free resource. They give it to anything that calls for it. But attention was never meant to be handed out carelessly. It was meant to be invested. When you treat it like something valuable, everything changes. Your actions become clearer. Your choices become wiser. Your path becomes steadier. End the day with the same question you began with. Ask yourself at night, did my attention today serve the life I'm trying to build? If the answer is yes, even slightly, you're moving in the right direction. If the answer is no, don't criticize yourself. Just adjust tomorrow's starting point. Attention is not about perfection, it's about direction. Understand the quiet truth. Realignment happens in inches, not miles. You don't need a dramatic transformation. You don't need a sudden burst of clarity. You don't need to reinvent yourself overnight. You simply need the discipline to guide your attention gently, consistently, toward the things that grow you. Because once your attention shifts, everything else begins shifting with it. Your thinking, your choices, your habits, your confidence, your opportunities, your future, it all follows. A simple daily shift in attention may look small from the outside, but over time, it becomes the quiet force that realigns your entire life. Not through pressure, not through urgency, but through steady awareness and deliberate focus. So, in the end, life is not shaped by the loud moments. It's shaped by the quiet ones. The moments when no one is watching, when no one is asking for anything, when it's just you and the direction of your attention. What you look at today becomes the ground you stand on tomorrow. Not instantly, not dramatically, but inevitably. The mind always moves toward the picture it holds the longest. So choose that picture with care. Choose it with patience. Choose it with the understanding that your attention is the most faithful builder you'll ever meet. If you look at what weakens you, life begins to feel heavy. If you look at what strengthens you, life begins to open. If you look at fear, fear grows. If you look at possibility, possibility grows. Your future does not arrive from the sky. It grows from the soil of your attention. You don't need to force anything. You don't need to demand speed or perfection. You only need to guide your attention toward the life you want. And keep guiding it, gently, calmly, consistently. Because when your attention is steady, your path becomes steady. When your attention is clear, your decisions become clear. And when your attention points toward a purpose, your life will quietly begin to align with that direction. The law is simple. Look where you want to go, and keep looking. Your steps will follow, your habits will follow, your identity will follow, and eventually your entire life will follow, not by force, but by focus.